So I bring greetings from everyone here in Harmony House in Leicester. But Sister Loes, a very warm welcome to you. It's lovely to be touching in with Suriname again. And you've chosen this aspect of self-respect for us to talk about today. What is it about self-respect in particular that intrigued you? And how do you see it linking with purity?
Well, first, welcome and thank you to all of you. Welcome in Suriname and thank you for having me in this program. I must say that I never thought much about self-respect only after I came in contact with the spiritual knowledge. And then start to understand how deep this goes for the self. Because what is it that I am respecting myself for? And what is it that keeps my respect high? And I was always interested in what are those shifts and movements inside the self which make you feel low or make you feel high or make you feel at ease or unease, whatever, even dis-ease. But to me, it started to dawn that self-respect has a lot to do with all the, the labels that we use or that we create. And that the more labels we create to feel good, the bigger the chance that our self-respect goes down because we only connect it with the labels and not with the self. And this was for me like a personal journey also to check in, to see that there is a lot of connection between how you see yourself as a being, as a human being, and then in the society, in the family, wherever you've grown up, and all those labels and little packages that you have created to feel yourself good and to have that kind of respect for the self. And so it was when I started to understand that it is the deeper consciousness, which is the consciousness connected to purity, which you can't label because you can't put it in a box. It's very open and very unlimited and very wide and very broad and very deep, especially, that when you start understanding, when I started to understand that who I am is not a label that I have been sticked on or that I have been acquired, but it's the pure self. And so that connection between understanding myself as a pure being or understanding my pure self and disconnected with the labels. This is the journey from day one until now, as I started the spiritual study and spiritual understanding. Because we use so many things to feel good about ourselves.
And there's something about self-respect that we can only give ourselves. No one else can give us self-respect. We have to give it to ourselves. And yet very often we will only give it to ourselves if we feel like we're ticking the right boxes that society sets out. And it's only then that we say, yes, now I can have self-respect, rather than, as you're saying, finding those inequalities and having self-respect on the basis of identifying those qualities within myself. And I know for you, Sister Loes, obviously you've carried the label of being a doctor, which in most societies is a huge form of getting respect from other people and thereby having respect for ourselves. And I wonder to what extent that became almost like a burden. The expectation of other people, the expectation of yourself, and that you were having self-respect for yourself, but only on the basis of having this label of being a doctor?
Well, it's something that it grows gradually, you know. You don't, so let's say you can't help. Almost you can't help, because once you're in that role, and it's a little bit dependent on the society as well, because the society also labels the doctors different. But once you're in the role, and you know, people here, I heard it saying many times that a doctor is next to God, because there is this deep connection between life and death, and and carrying that responsibility of keeping alive or not being able to keeping alive. That's even a bigger one. I'm just checking, is the wind blowing too much in my mic?
No, it sounds fine.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because we suddenly had a good, nice wind blow here. And so when people start looking at you, putting you on that pedestal, it's not difficult to start feeling as high as they put you. Unless you start getting that deeper feel that it's not about me, that someone can be kept alive or that someone dies. To put it as simple as that. For me, I had a little bit of a good fortune to start my spiritual exploration early in my professional life. And although I didn't understand it to the depth that I understand it now, but it was going like a little bit side by side. So the things that I came across with were helping me to understand my spirituality in a different way too, and to help me to understand that it is a role that I'm playing, and I am fortunate to be in that role so that I can help people in a way that they would like to be helped. And then adding that also to the way you come across people, patients, the caretakers, whoever. And then you have the other set of caretakers also with you, which is the next level in respecting the self as well, and how to deal with that part. So it's different levels, which yeah, it is an opportunity or sometimes a challenge to merge those things so that you don't get got caught up in the arrogance of being in that role.
So in what way do you think it's different to have self-respect when it's based on ego and self-respect when it's based on humility?
Yeah, that is a journey, I think, to understand that everything that is perishable, everything that is just for a short time, if that gains me, if I gain my self-respect on that level, it will fail me one time. So today it's high, tomorrow it can be very low, because the same thing that brought me to that high can also bring me to that low. And so all those things that are just short-lived or that are not because of me, and that is everything actually. To understand that all those things, you know, if, for instance, keep it to the medical profession, if a patient thrives well, it's not about me. I was just a little chain in the whole setting, and to understand that makes me humble. That is how I felt always. That it's not me. If I was there and there were no nurses, nothing could have been accomplished. If there were no people keeping the hospital clean, we could have never been anywhere because it would be a mess. And so all this little chain, like the little segments also contribute to what is the end product. And it will come to you, but do I take it as my only my compliment or my whatever achievement, or can I see that it's not me, it is all of us, and it's not, it's more than just the doctor in the whole thing. And that keeps me, it keeps you on a certain level of humility, but it's not zero, because in the back of your head, in the back of your mind, it's so easy to take take it for, what is it? Whether it's a success, that you feel that it's because of me. No, it's very thin line.
Very, very thin line, and it works the other way around as well. I'm thinking of, how we grow up in a society which gives young girls and young women the message that, you're not as good as the men, or if you're not from a wealthy background, you're not as good. If you don't live in the right neighborhood, you're not as good. If you don't drive the right car, wear the right trainers, whatever it is, we can use these as ways of feeling we don't deserve to have that self-respect. And we need to somehow, on this spiritual journey, shake all of those labels off, whether they're lifting us up and making us feel super proud and special, or somehow taking on board the message that we're less than another person for whatever reason. So how do the lessons of spirituality enable us to do that and find a much more deep-seated respect that is based not on what I do, but who I am?
Yeah. To me, it's like, when I look back and see what actually triggered me to start searching was because I could not understand. I could not understand what happened in relationships. Why people who say they love each other fight so much. I could not understand when I was younger. And then gradually I started to realize that my expectations come from that lower self-respect or less self-esteem, that others should validate me, others should value me, others should put me on a certain level for me to feel good about myself. And then when it was like, what is happening here? I started the journey. And the first thing that really hit me was that I am not the physical being, but it is the inner self that makes me behave in a certain way or makes me play my role in a certain way. And that deeper seated spiritual being is a being of peace, and it's a being of love, and it's a pure being. When I heard this the first time, I was like, what? Is this true? But it caught me. It caught me by deep experience that this is what it is. Of course, you can't grasp it, the level that, but it was a very deep thing, that it's not about what I do, but it's about how I do things. It's not about where I live, but it's how I live in the place that I am. And this thing was very simple, but again, it was very deep to me, because the understanding that I am a pure being, that I am a peaceful being, it needed time to go into that shift that that is who I am. It's not that I think I am, but it's who I am. And still, you know, it's a journey. It is not that in one day or one instance you will be that, because we have so many things, so many layers that we carry with us and that need to be polished. But then again, this understanding that I am a spiritual being, I am a beautiful being, in essence, that is who I am. And if I see my ugly side, that means I shifted from that deeper knowing, and I have to shift back. Mm. And what helped me with that is, I must say, working with young children was such a beautiful gift that I got, because these young children, they don't live in that outer consciousness, especially when they are quite young, until age of 1 or 2, depending on the circumstances. But, you know, they are just as they are, and they show you what they have inside. And they will shine when they feel like shining. When they feel happy, they're happy. And they don't take different things from the outside world to express them. And it was quite a learning school for me to work with them, to be with them, to play with them, you know, like, and to see where they come from, because it's like a mirror, and they help you to shift yours, you know, like that.
Mm. And I wonder again how the deepening of that experience of self-respect takes place when you begin a practice of meditation, of connecting with the divine presence, and you begin to see yourself reflected through the lens of the divine. Because I think sometimes we almost need to be given permission to see ourselves as that beautiful, perfect diamond soul that we are, because we think maybe that's arrogance to think that about ourselves. But, you know, the way the divine or God sees us is in our highest, most perfect and purest form. And when we begin to see ourselves in that way, there is a self-respect that is based on knowing ourselves as we truly are, seeing ourselves through the eyes of the divine, and feeling that original experience of purity and living a life that is based on purity. That does give us a very natural self-respect, because we're accessing our true selves. How have you journeyed with that experience of seeing yourself as the divine sees you?
You see, Philippa, there was one thing that that I deeply felt that I had to go through still, which is deeper understanding that my negative feelings come from a lack of self-respect. So it's the other, from looking at it from the other side, because the understanding was there, but still the feelings were mixed. You know, sometimes you know that this is my highest being, but you feel something else because you're still not there in the consciousness as you want it to be. And so for me, in the learning process, if I shift it the other way around, it sharpens my understanding that if I'm going through a low, it means that I lost somewhere, I lost my track. And so this feeling will shift me back and say, hello, where are you? And the more I understood, the easier it becomes to see where you know, you slip off track. Because in my deeper understanding and also experience, what came up is that my deeper happiness is so connected with my true self. My deeper sense of freedom is so deeply ingrained in who I feel that I am, and also my inner power, which is a more deep thing, that my inner power means that I have the right on myself. I don't know if that's good English, but I have the right on myself. I can be emotionally free. I can be, whatever, independent in my feelings. And that for me is the real journey, to see that both sides are there. You know about your true self, you experience what it is, you experience that sense of freedom, but you also experience when you lose strength. Both sides.
Yeah.
And so it becomes easier, but it also becomes more sensitive, in the sense that we become more sensitive to it. That when something happens which is not connected with purity, you will sense it easier. It goes deeper also, because then you know that it's not what you want it to be. It's not where you want to be. It's not where you want to go. It's not where you want others to be. Because that is the second part. Once you start understanding it for yourself, you also want others to be there. Like coming into that space where freedom and happiness is part of you, is part of your life experience. And it's a journey. It's a journey, because in that same understanding is that there are so many layers that we had put onto that pure core that we are. So many layers that we have to understand. And if we don't understand that, we have to make sure that we don't polish those layers, but we take them off. We take them off. So it brings vulnerability. It brings more sensitivity, but it brings beauty.
Mm-hmm. I love what you're saying about freedom and happiness, because when you come onto the spiritual path and you begin to base your self-respect on your true qualities and your true sense of self, you don't have the same need to work so hard in your life doing things that will somehow, you believe, bring you self-respect. Because we do in this Western world, we exhaust ourselves chasing after status and people's good impression of us. We want to feel that we're able to hold our head up in company, and in order to do that, we need X, Y, and Z. But on the spiritual path, those opinions of others don't matter to us in the same way. We're not dependent upon them for our inner self-respect. And so, yes, we may still do the job that we were doing, but we're not dependent upon it in the way that we were. And that brings a sense of freedom.
Yes.
Because no one can take that away from you. If you lose your job, if your marriage breaks down, if someone crashes into your car, whatever it is that your self-respect is based on in the outside world, that can be taken away from you. But when it's based on what you're finding from connecting within, no one can take that from you. And that does give you a freedom, and it does give you happiness. At the end of the day, it gives you happiness.
Yeah. But I understood, what I also experienced is that it is a journey to understand that happiness is something from inside. It's an inner thing. Okay, a piece of chocolate. I still eat chocolate. I love chocolate. But it can bring you happiness, but for how long? Maybe 2 minutes only when it's on the tongue. So, but if I become dependent on that 2 minutes of my my peak, then I will eat more and more chocolate to feel happy, because the 2 minutes will last only 2 minutes, and then I need more. But so gradually, like if it's there, it's there. If it's not there, it's okay too. And to find the balance within the self, and to really be honest with the self to see when you're there or when you're slipping up again. Because it's a continuous journey. It's a continuous journey and it's a cleansing process. It's about, when we say purity, it means clean, totally clean.
Yeah.
And so the more the cleansing plus process sets in, the more you will gain from that too. It's like when you start cleaning your cupboard or your bedroom. Yes.
I wonder if you think that there is a very subtle way in which we bring the old attitudes of self-respect based on labels into our spiritual lives.
Yeah.
So we organize a program and we get self-respect because we think I've organized a good program. Or you're in charge of a meditation center and you think, well, I everyone is respecting me because I'm in charge of a center and therefore I respect myself. Or, I've written a book and everyone says how good the book is. And we think, okay, I'm now a nice author. Are those same traps there, do you think, on the spiritual path, that we can use these external successes as a way of giving us self-respect, but in just the same way, they're based on other people's perceptions or on labels that somehow, even in the spiritual world, we've been given, and we're not learning to really find that feeling from within, even on the spiritual path?
Yeah, that's so true, because we've been used to seek respect on those levels. And so it's so easy to just give it the next color. Same label, but we give it the next color. So, but when you are truthful, or when you are, it's an honest search that you are onto, there is one thing, and we don't like it, but it will help us, and this is the ego crushers. If I really want to grow spiritually, ego crushers will come my way. And an ego crusher is something that I will not like, and it will shake me off, and it will put me off balance because I was tripping again. And if you are honestly open to grow on a spiritual path, these are your best helpers. These are your best helpers, those ego crushers. If I recognize them, then how come I don't feel nice when this one is looking at me this way? How is it that I don't like it when this one is talking to me this way? How is it that I don't feel happy when they don't give me a chance to help there when they know that I'm good at that part? So these things will come, these thoughts will come, and it's okay. It's okay if they come, because we have sustained them for so many lives, so many years. So when they come, the only thing is I have to recognize them. And when I recognize them and I can see that this is an ego crusher, something is there I'm not feeling happy about. So then I have to go inwards and see, what is it? Which is the trap that I still can go into, because I'm still seeking for respect on that level, or from that source, or from that person even. No? So this is one thing. And another thing is also like the old ideas that I keep about myself. Old ideas that I keep about myself, even if it's low self-respect or high self-respect, even if it's from arrogance or from what is it? What do you call it? When I feel low about myself, low self-esteem. Those thoughts, if we don't give enough space to the new thoughts, the old one will come back. You see? Because we always want something. We always want something for ourselves. And so if I'm not enough feeding those deeper thoughts about myself, the old ones will surface so once and again. So I have to make sure that I also give enough attention to that part. That whatever has passed, it is past. It's part of me being today who I am. And that is something that I keep for myself. You know, like if I hadn't been through that journey, I would not be who I am today. So it was contributing to my search. It was contributing to wherever I am today. So I'm not feeling bad about it, but I can appreciate it for what it is.
So give thanks to the people in your life who serve you as ego crushers, because
Yes.
they're really helping you. They're really helping you see yourself and see the way in which your inflated ego has bought into the idea that, you know, you're great on the basis of something which is actually only temporary. So if we're saying that, you know, things that are temporary that can be taken away are not a foundation for true self-respect, are we by the same token saying that true self-respect comes when we are really stable in our relationship with the one above, with the divine, that I am a child of that divine source, that I'm in a relationship with God, if that's a word that you're comfortable with, or with the divine, and that somehow that gives us a very deep-seated self-respect that is pure. By definition, is that always pure, or can that also have ego in it?
I think in my understanding and experience that only when I see myself as a spiritual being can I relate to the divine. Because in my understanding now, the divine is not a human being. It's that higher being, the divine source, or the divine being, or which is the only one who knows my full story. Is the only one who will see me as I truly am. Because there's so many layers that we expose. When I'm here, I expose this layer. When I'm here, I expose that layer. And it takes us a whole journey to come into that core again, where transparency is all there is. And with that divine being, that God, that beautiful one, is the only one who knows my own story, my whole story. And it's the only one who knows my beauty as is. That is how I deeply feel. And so connecting to that one in that consciousness of being a spiritual being gives me that deeper sense of purpose too, that this is the one who sees me as I am. And so let me see myself. Let me do that, make that effort to see myself as that one sees me. And so then it takes me to a next level where I not only understand myself, but I accept myself as I am. And when I accept myself, then my respect gradually can grow. Because my pure vision will also open up, or it will wake up. pure vision for me, from me, as how I am.
Mm.
I don't know if it's
It's absolutely making sense. And it's giving me another thought, which is the people we spend time with, they reflect aspects of ourselves back to ourselves. So if I'm with you and I'm saying, gosh, Loes is so kind. She's so kind and caring. I'm seeing that quality in you because there's something in me that recognizes it and has that quality as well. If you have a quality that I don't have, it's likely that I just won't see it because I don't have it in me to connect with your quality. And so the more time we spend with the beautiful one, and I love your way of describing the divine as the beautiful one, the more time we spend with the beautiful one, the more the qualities of that beautiful one will awaken those qualities in me, because I'm kind of hanging out in that space of bliss and beauty and truth and compassion and all of those lovely qualities. And so those things are naturally going to grow in me because that's what I'm noticing, that's what I'm seeing, and it's reflecting it back to me that that's what I am as well. And so, it becomes a purity, a beauty, a self-respect that is reflected and mirrored back from being in communion and relationship with the divine. And that in essence is the purpose of meditation.
yes, it is. It needs attention. It needs what is it? Uh, Systematical attention. What do you call it? There
Systematic.
is, yeah. It will not come just by itself. Although, when you like, the more you relate to that beautiful one, it becomes more natural to see beauty and to see your own beauty as well. So you start seeing outward beauty and you start seeing your inward beauty. And again, it's like the polishing. It's the polishing. It's the polishing. It's the polishing. You see? And I like this. I don't know about you, but here in Suriname, this is the weekend for Holi. And this is such a significant time because the coloring is a big thing here in the Caribbean, at least a couple of the countries. It's a holiday, it's a national holiday, and everyone is in that festive mode to be colored. And just yesterday, I was listening to a conversation of two people. One had a lot of powder already, colored powder on his skin, and the other one was asking him, like, how come you are so colored so early? And he said, this is a season where everyone feels that they can color each other. And it was so much reminding me of this same thing, that where is my attention going? And if my intention is okay, and my attention is going in sharing, these beautiful colors with others, which is the color of joy and the color of happiness and the color of love and the color of peace. If we want to share it with others, then we will help the world to be colored and to be nicely colored. And so this thing with being in the company of the divine. So if I'm allowing this one to be in my company, and I allow myself to be in his company, then of course he has the most bright colors. So that coloring will also influence me. And even if I wear my white sari, if I'm colored with different specks of different other colors, it will be different, you know? And so it was nice when that one was saying, yeah, I wear this colored t-shirt because then everyone can see different colors that I'm colored with. And I was thinking, this is such a beautiful thing that if I am in the right consciousness, then I can be colored. I can take whatever I see others exude
Beautiful.
It will just come to me.
Lovely. I love that image of allowing those colors of the divine to come onto me and color me with those beautiful colors. And we've been on such an amazing journey in a very short space of time, actually, because we've gone from looking at how we take our cues for self-respect from the labels that we wear in society to looking at how we give ourselves those labels based on our own inequalities. And we've ended up in a place where we're taking our cues for self-respect from allowing ourselves to be colored by the qualities of the divine. And that is what gives us our very true and deep self-respect. And I feel like this is the perfect moment for us to maybe just go into a meditation together. And if you could lead us with your thoughts into an experience of how we can really open up to the colors of the beautiful one and allow them into our life to color us and make us more beautiful as well.
Okay. In this moment in time, I focus my attention to my inner self. Visualize myself as a beautiful shining star in the center of the forehead of this body, radiating love and peace, connecting to my purest self. Start understanding that all the different layers gave me some respect. Were they going and coming and bringing me to highs and lows? With the deepest respect for myself is accepting and understanding and experiencing who I really am. That being pure light, child of the divine, a unique being with a sense of purpose in this life. Connecting myself now with the divine up above. Purest being, the highest quality, is my spiritual parent. And I have a right to draw from him the most beautiful colors, the most beautiful and pure virtues, and qualities just by being in his company. And he colors me with the red color of power and the green color of peace. He colors me with a beautiful yellow color of joy and happiness, and the blue color of wisdom. And I absorb those colors. I absorb those qualities, taking them in deeply in the self. And it becomes part of me. Sense of happiness and freedom, just because I'm so powerful and can be myself.